Okay, so about a week-ish ago, I was talking to Clay, and he asked me a pretty fun and interesting question. It wasn't anything like super deep. It was just, hey, like of all the consoles you've owned, like for every console that you've owned or had extensive time with, what has been your favorite game per console? And we went through it. It's like, all right, like I played an NES. It's probably this, like with the GameCube, it was probably this, etc., etc. And with some of these, it was really easy to come up with, like, all right, this one's definitely my favorite for this console. This one, it's maybe between these two to three, but it's probably this one. I had the most amount of fun with the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch, which, funny enough, those are probably two of the easiest. Like, if you've watched my videos regularly, you might have a pretty good idea of what my favorite Switch game is, of what my favorite PS4 game is. But I still have a pretty long list of games on the Switch where I'm like, you know what? Maybe these aren't a full contender, but they are games that I genuinely love and have a lot of affection for. So, again, over the past week-ish, it's been something I've been really thinking about. Like, okay, what is my ranking of my favorite PS4 games and my favorite Switch games? So, as you can tell from the title, this is specifically the PS4. And as you can tell by the length, which I don't know at this point, I'm only like a minute and 40 seconds in, I'm probably going to be here a while. So I'm kind of trying to keep myself honest, making a note here. Fucking add timestamps into the video. I don't know if I'll say the name of each game in the timestamp, just to, did I say time scamp? You know, scamp. I probably won't put the name of the game in the timestamp because I think it's a little more fun that way, not to spoil the placement of everything. But if you just want to skip to number one, you just click it. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you. Even if I could, I wouldn't. But yeah. But just a couple, I guess, house rules before I get started. Number one, obviously, if I haven't played the game, it's not going to be on this list. And it's also kind of a sub rule to that. This applies to games that I specifically played on the PS4. So if it's on other systems, but like, for example, if there's a game on like the Switch that is also on the PS4, and I played the Switch version and not the PS4 version, it's not going to be on this list because I didn't play it in PS4. If it's a port or a remaster of a game that I've played on another system and I played it on the PS4, it is fair game to show up on this list. That's rule number one. Rule number two is, again, this is just my pure personal opinion. This is not an objective. These are the 19 best PS4 games. Weirdly enough, when I was going through like both my Switch and my PS4 libraries, I was like, yeah, both of them I have 19 plus some honorable mentions, which I'll talk about in a second when I get to those. Just kind of funny how it worked out that way. But this is not meant to be an objective list. These are the 19 best games on the console. Just these are my 19 favorite. And also, I don't subscribe to the rule of only one game per series. These are not going to be 19 different series. I mean, spoiler alert, you're going to see all 4 Cold Steel games on the list at some point. But without further ado, I want to get into the honorable mentions. So the reason I have honorable mentions and not a 20 and a 21 is because these aren't games I actually played. It's Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, and Dragon Quest 11. Didn't play either of them, but I watched Clay play them pretty extensive. Actually, that's not true. I played a decent amount of Crash 4, but I didn't play through the whole game. It really was like I played through a chunk, I watched Clay play through a chunk, passed the sticks a couple times, and I vicariously got the experience I wanted from it. Same with Dragon Quest 11. I don't think I ever touched it, but I watched him play, if not the whole game, I'd say a very good chunk of it. And I felt like I got it. I felt like I got what I needed from it. So while they are not games that I can personally say, like, yeah, like I played them, I fully experienced them, I want to give them a shout out. So now getting into the list proper, only almost 5 minutes in. That's surprisingly faster than I thought. Number 19 is Atelier Ryza, and I don't remember the subtitle to the first game, like the Secret Hideout, or I almost said Secret Garden, but like, no, that's That's a book. Like the secret hideout in Evergarden or some shit. I don't know. I liked it. I didn't play either of the sequels because as much as I liked Ryza, I didn't love Ryza. But it gave me a genuine appreciation for those very low key like farming games, things like Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley that honestly I've never played and have never really been that interested in. But what I really liked about Ryza was just how pleasant it was and how low key it was. I'm usually not huge into crafting systems, but I had a pretty good time with the alchemy and trying to craft shit and make shit. I wasn't crazy about combat, just like the whole like real time combat. I That's just not a thing for me. I'm going to be perfectly honest. And as much as I liked the synthesizing and the alchemy, I said alchemizing. I don't know if that's a word, but the alchemy. I didn't love having to craft my own like weapons and armor. I think you could buy some, but it was incentivized for you to be able to make that, and that was something I was not doing particularly well. But just like finding random shit and using it to make new random shit, I thought was really fun and genuinely my favorite part of the game is I don't remember if this is before the actual final boss or not, but I think it was the final like challenge of the game, even after you beat the final boss, is like an alchemy check. And I thought that was really cool. Um Even the story, like it's very from what I remember, it felt very low key, like the stakes weren't absolutely crazy. It was just some friends want to go on an adventure. They meet a local alchemist who I guess he's now a local alchemist. I just liked the vibes. I liked how cozy it was. Again, it's not a game that I feel like I love and I can really stump for or stand, but I genuinely had fun with it. So, number 19. Number 18, Final Fantasy X. Um, this might be controversial for how low it is. I played the remastered version, and I'm gonna be honest, I thought the game looked kind of ugly. I did not care for the visual style. I also didn't care for all the ass shots and the camera. The voice acting is very hit or miss. Like, don't get me wrong, the laughing scene is one of those scenes where, like, yeah, when you watch it in context, it's really good and really effective. But there's moments that are weird, like Titus. Okay, first off, I named him Reggie. So I'm just gonna refer to him as Reggie for the rest of this segment, not gonna lie. So his like narration over the plot of the game, his voice actor, I can't remember his name. I want to say James Arnold Taylor, that might be wrong, is doing a much older voice, even though he's not a much older character when that happens. And my understanding is the voice actor believed this was Titus like years later at the end of his life, reflecting on his adventure. And I mean, technically, he's not wrong, but not in the way that he expected. And it makes this weird dissonance. I feel like for me, the story is kind of this weird dissonance where when I sat down, because I remember there was a point where I was talking to Clay and I was like, okay, can you explain what the story is? Because when it's all the like weird backstory, Xanarkand, you Yevon tick shit was not very well explained, at least to me. And then when he's like, okay, like, yeah, the game does not explain the whole plot very well. This is the full story. It's super interesting. But the way it's conveyed, there's elements of it I really like. Like the whole sin cycle, I think is really interesting. When you meet Unaleska, I think she was like criminally underused because she feels like if you would tweak the story a little bit, she would be a phenomenal main antagonist to the game, and she's just not used well enough for it. And then there's Seymour, who feels like he's supposed to be the main antagonist, and by the end of the game, he has all the threat level of Team Rocket. I just... I don't remember exactly what Reggie's line is, but it's something along the lines like, you again! Don't you ever give up? Like, it is straight up that scene from Owl House. In Season 3, this might be my favorite moment in Owl House because I quote it all the time. When Kikimora, or like when Luz has to deal with Kikimora in Season 3, and she just Oh no, not you. Like, that is what Seymour is reduced to by the end of the story, and it's really just sad and pathetic. And not even like, oh man, this character deserved better. To me, it's more just like, no, I feel like this story deserved better. It deserved a much better antagonist. The main characters, Yuna is fantastic. I absolutely love her. Auron, I think, is really cool. And I mean, I'm also used to Auron from Kingdom Hearts 2, where it's like, all right, this guy's cool as hell. Wakka, I don't love. I don't hate, but I don't particularly like him. I like Lulu quite a bit. It's the fucking belt dress is like peak Nomura design. Riku's fine. Kimari's there. Like, I don't hate him. Like, the stuff in the Ronso village I thought was fine. I didn't love it. I actually like Reggie quite a bit. And his relationship with Yuna and his relationship with Jet made me really invested in his character. The gameplay is absolutely phenomenal. This game is so stupidly fucking fun. I loved the sphere grid. I love that you can just switch between your party members whenever in combat. I like that there's a fucking turn order system. Shout out to Trails. To me, it really is. There's aspects of the presentation that are holding it back, and I think the story is a good idea. The execution suffers a lot for me, and as much as I wanted to love this game and loved aspects of it, which is why it's here, the parts that brought it down for me really brought it down. Number 17. Number 17 is Bloodborne. I've said on this channel before, I'll say it probably later sometimes on the channel, I don't like Souls games. And it, for me, really, really comes down to the stamina meter. I grew up playing Kingdom Hearts. And again, not to say that, like, I know people who love Kingdom Hearts and love Souls games. They're not mutually exclusive. But Kingdom Hearts has no fucking stamina meter. And I love that. I love that I can run around, I can attack, I can dodge, I can block, and they don't take a resource. It's just, hey, if I have a chance to attack, I can take it. But hey, sometimes it is not your turn to attack. You need to understand when to dodge. You need to understand when to block. You need to know your openings. I like that element of Souls games. I just wish attacking, dodging, and defending didn't cost a resource. And even I really liked Bloodborne. I never changed weapons. I know the weapons of Bloodborne are fucking cool, but I was like, dude, I'm gonna just take one of my starter weapons and go the entire way with the entire length of the game with it. So me and my threaded game just hauled ass. I didn't do everything. I didn't do the Chalice dungeons. I just didn't care enough. I fought the Orphan. I didn't beat the Orphan because at that point I was like, I just want to finish the game. Let me go fight Gehrman. And I didn't really try with Lawrence. I was like, I don't want to do that shit. But I beat the other bosses in the DLC. I beat Gehrman in the Moon Presence. It's not like the Moon Presence is a particularly impressive boss, but Gehrman was really fun. I had a lot of fun with it. There were fights that made me mad. I still have unpleasant memories of fighting Ludwig and my darling Abrita Star of the Cosmos. But I think what really helps Bloodborne for me is, number one, its emphasis on aggression. Is because I've tried playing Dark Souls 3. It's not on this list because I didn't particularly like it. Bloodborne feels like a different game, and I really like the way it plays, again, with just that emphasis on aggression. I also just really dig the Victorian era aesthetic. I think it's Clay who likes to say Bloodborne is a very wet game. with how violent it is, and from what I remember, there's like a lot of water and like a lot of rain. Maybe I'm completely misremembering that. It's been a while since I played it. But it's an experience I really enjoyed, and I can see why people love it so much. There's a reason where anytime there is like a new state of play, it's, are we getting Bloodborne? Are we getting Bloodborne 2? Are we getting a remaster? Are we finally getting it ported to PC? I understand why people love this game so much. And again, even as someone who, I don't want to say I'm a Souls hater, but as someone who just, it's like, look, it's just not for me. Even I think this game fucks. So, I mean, if it gets remastered, I'm probably not going to play it. I'm going to be honest. Like, I played it once. I'm good. Bloodborne 2, though? I might be kind of tempted to pick up Bloodborne 2. So that's number, what was that, 7? That's 17. So 16. It's kind of my guilty pleasure on the list. Is Senran Kagura Estival Versus. So when I picked this game up, genuinely I was like, this is going to be just pure trash. It is going to be stupid. It is going to be goofy. It is going to have no qualms about what it is. It's probably not going to offer anything more, but it's just going to be a dumb, fun time. And combat, like gameplay wise, it's basically a Muso game, which I'm not super into. I've tried playing, like I did the demo for Fire Emblem, was it Three Hopes, I think, and it was fun for a while, and the more I played it, the more I was like, this isn't doing it for me. I've tried playing Fate Extella, I think is what it's called, the Muso Fate Extra game, and also I was like, this is just not doing it for me. So it's not something I particularly like, but I had enough fun playing Estival Versus. The reason it's on the list is because of how much it genuinely surprised me. Yes, it's a game about, for lack of a better word, boobs. Bazak. It has no qualms about what it's about. It's also a game about loss and about how people are dealing with it. Two of the main characters in the game they lost their sister before the game started, and because of the events that are going on in the game, their sister is someone interacting with, like, their sister's ghost. Like, she even has a halo, and something I love is when her halo gets touched, she goes from being very nice and very sweet to just like a fucking demon. And I think that's really fun. But it actually like goes into that, and how like one of the sisters is like, dude, like our older sister is back. I've missed her. I'm so happy. Like, this is the most wonderful thing that could ever happen. And the other sister's like, I don't know how to feel about this, because it's been so long since she's been a part of my life that I've moved past it. And I have this anger because, like, I know it wasn't her fault, but she left me. And now that I'm around her again, I can't just push it down. Like, I have to, like, address this. And this is, believe it or not an easy thing to address. And then some of their teammates, one of them, I think it was like she was in a coma for several years, and talking about, like, the loss of several years of my life. And now that I'm like awake and I'm active, there are people who I love that aren't around anymore, and I miss them, and I miss these aspects of them and these parts of them. And there's this other team, there's like these Shrine Maiden sisters who talk about how there was like this kid they used to know and they used to play with, and how that girl just disappeared one day. And I don't remember exactly what the story was. I think it was like, we want to meet that girl again, or it's like we feel responsible for her. It was something along, but like I remember the girl's disappearance is something that like really affected them. And as goofy as they can be, like one of them has the IQ of a rock. I fucking love Hanabi, but she has the IQ of a rock. They can take their jobs as like Shrine Maidens very seriously. There's also the Crimson Squad, and I just love the Crimson Squad. They're just really, really fun. I don't remember if it was in this game or Peach Beach, but there's a line. Fuck, what was Homora's line? I don't remember what it was. It was something along the lines of, okay, I'm really hungry, and I've got a bunch of swords, so I'm in a good mood, and I just want to fight people, and then I'm gonna eat. Like, I don't remember exactly how she phrased it, but it made me laugh really hard. And yeah, like I played Peach Beach. That's not on the list. Peach Beach is exactly what I thought Senran Kagura was going to be. And honestly, after playing Estival Versus, which was genuinely had more depth to it than I was expecting, Peach Beach meeting my exact expectation, like my initial expectations, was honestly a pretty big disappointment. So again, like it's still lower on the list, but it feels weird to say that's like, yeah, I think I liked the Senran Kagura game more than Bloodborne and Final Fantasy X, but expectations can do a lot. After that, number 15 is my darling, my beloved Child of Light. So Child of Light is an RPG, and it's a fairy tale. That's really what it is. It's not like a specific fairy tale, like you're not playing as Red Riding Hood or anything like that. But it's just this very simple story of like a princess and the stepmom and the wicked stepsisters and all that shit. It's very basic, but it's just so pleasant and so charming and so likable. Like I'm just grinning thinking about it. Aurora's theme, the do 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 is fucking beautiful. Like I don't think I've really said much about the music in any of these games. Like To Xanarkand is absolutely beautiful, man. But I really like Aurora's theme. I think the combat to Child of Light is fun. One of the things I remember is like it's an ATB, but you can actively like prevent someone from being able to like use their abilities, which is something Clay hates about the game. So he and I have talked about it. He's like, look, the game has this mechanic where you can stop someone from using their abilities, and early in the game it encourages you to do so. That's cool. As the game goes on, enemies, like, so a lot of the late game bosses will be like, you interrupted me, here's your punishment for it. And he's like, the game is now punishing me from using its mechanic. The game is mad that I'm playing it. This bothers me. I'm like, I get that, but I don't know. I kind of like it because it makes like there's risk and reward to it. Like there is a good reward because you're stopping them from doing shit. But here's the risk. So, do you let them do this ability unimpeded? Do you try to impede them knowing the risk? I think the wrinkle to strategy is pretty good. The reason it's as high as it is on the list is for one simple reason. You can fly. The moment I was playing Child of Light and Aurora gained the ability to fly, easily my favorite moment in the game. Because I grew up playing Mario 64. I love Mario 64. One of my favorite games of all time. I'm not going to do one of these videos for every console because some consoles I'm like, I've played probably like 64 games. Like thoroughly enough to make a list of. Mario 64 is easily my favorite 64 game. I fucking hate the wing cap. I have always hated the wing cap. The best way I've heard it described is it is not flying, it is falling with style. And like that's pretty apt, and I don't think it's that fun. Banjo-Kazooie, you can fly. There's still a limit, there's still a resource, but you can fly. And it's cool, and I like it. Child of Light, there's no resource. Once you get it, you can just fly and explore. And there is something so, and again, like it's a fairy tale, like this is some Peter Pan shit, but like I just remember how like genuinely happy and giddy I was in that moment. And that feeling does a lot. It goes a long way. So yeah, Child of Light, I say it like it's my darling, it's my beloved. It's only number 15 because I think the PS4 library is that good. I've got a big soft spot for it. After that, number 14, it's Rayman Legends. Rayman Legends is so fucking fun. So just remember some of the goofy shit in this game. Like, there's a level where if I remember right, you're a fucking chicken. And I think that's the level with the luchadors, where there's a dude in the background that would just scream like luchador and just like get destroyed part of the stage. It's so fun. And the bosses are super fun. Was it I think it's Legends. Was it Legends specifically that added the music levels, or was that in Origins? I think that's a yeah, that is a Legend specific thing because Black Betty was the demo. It has the music levels. It's got dude, I love the Black Betty one so much. I love the mariachi version of Eye of the Tiger. I've done that level so many times. Um Me and my buddy Wyatt have like played that game together, I think all the way through at least twice. And I think both times were on PS4. I think it is genuinely one of just the most fun platformers I've ever played. A lot of that is just its fun sense of charm. A lot of it is its level design and just how interesting a lot of them are, how fun a lot of the ideas are. It's I think it's a lot like Mario Wonder in that regard, and a lot like Mario Wonder, I played it with my friends, and that just makes the experience that much better. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's a phenomenal game. If you haven't played it, absolutely go do so. Number 13. It's a bit of a cheat because it's two games. It's a tie. It's Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7 because I'd never played Resident Evil 4 before. First time I played it on the PS4. And Resi 7. To me, Resident Evil 7 has the better story. Because I was actually really okay, so I was really engaged in the plot. I want to know what the fuck was going to happen in Resi 7, and it genuinely scared me in some moments. The part that I remember, I think it's after the fight with Marguerite, is when you go into, I think it was Evelyn's room, but you're just in first person going into this really dark corridor in this really dark room, and then here's like the kids toys and like the teddy bear and shit. I just remember going I think I was talking to Clay, I think I was on the phone with him, or like we were streaming or some shit. I don't know what we were doing, but I was like, dude, I don't want to go in there. This is spooky. Fuck this, man. I liked it a lot. And also, I think there's things that are genuinely fun, like the fight with Jack in the garage, just like dealing with Jack in the house. I I really liked it. Resident Evil 4 is Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is not the most interesting story. Resident Evil 4 is not a scary game. It has Salazar talking to Mr. Kennedy about his right hand. It's not a scary game, but it's so fun and it's so funny and it's so goofy. I also, something I did with a friend, Clay and I played through it together, just like, all right, pass the sticks, pass the sticks. It was a blast. Would I really put it over Rayman Legends? I don't know. Like, again, kind of like I was saying earlier, like this is not an objective list. It's not an objective list. Like even some of the placements, I'm like, yeah, this feels about right. There may be some room for this one to go up or down a little bit, but I really liked both Resident Evil games that I played on the console, and I think those are still the only Resident Evil games I've actually played. Yeah, because Clay and I have been meaning to play through Resident Evil 2 for like a couple Halloweens now, and we keep not doing it. So yeah, these are still the only ones that I played. Um, Number 12. This is where we get our first Cold Steel game. It's Cold Steel 1. I have my problems with Cold Steel 1. Mostly, I don't love Reen in this game. I don't hate him. I find him I find him very bland in Cold Steel 1. The whole ogre power nonsense, I it gets better in other games the way it's handled. Like I think specifically Cold Steel 3 is my favorite way that they handle it in the series. But it kind of loses some points in the first game. And I don't particularly care for Elisa either. She also gets way better as the series goes on, specifically in Cold Steel 3 and 4. I really love her character at that point. There's moments in one where she works, but she leaves a really bad first impression She gets better from there. Even in games, she really does. I just, I'm not a big fan of the tsundere archetype, and she is a tsundere archetype. That being said, music is great. I really like the majority of Old Class 7. Gaius doesn't really do a lot for me, but he's likable enough. And then, like, Fee is a blast. Laura's not the most interesting character, but she's so unga bunga that I don't care. Eustace is a great character. You don't get to use Sarah a whole lot, but I fucking love Sarah. One of my favorite characters in the series. The game is so fun. I Trails is a series that is all about your setup. And it's not really like you're not micromanaging the way you do in like Unicorn Overlord, like with your tactics. Although I don't know, can you do that? I don't know. I mean, because I know that you can do like some shit with like tactics and formation. I don't do a whole lot of that. I'm just like, no, like we're gonna go and we're gonna do what I say we're gonna do. But with just like everyone, like with everyone's ornaments and shit, I love setups. Like I get so excited. Like if I'm playing Trails or like if Clay is playing Trails, like okay, we get to do setup time. Like I get so fucking happy for it. It was the first Trails game I played. It is what got me into the series. I mean, that's more kind of Cold Steel 2. Because after Cold Steel 1, I was like, I really liked this. I will play the next game at some point, but I got other shit I need to do. As soon as I finished Cold Steel 2, I was like, okay, cool. We're going to backtrack. We're going to play Sky now. I know I said I was going to play Ryza. Fuck that. I have to play more things. And then, what do you know? That was my 2021. It was Muv-Luv Trails. I would put it here, though. Again, the two main characters for me being pretty lackluster does diminish the game's quality, but I mean, I have it as what, like number 12 on this list, so clearly I still like it a lot. And number 11, just outside my top 10, it's Overwatch. I played so much of Overwatch. So much of Law School was just me playing Overwatch and getting really, really bad. Who was my main? I think it was D.Va. I remember I played a lot of D.Va. I liked playing Wind. My favorite shit was just going, hi there, hi there. He's so fun. He's so lovable. I know I played Reaper quite a bit. Like, yeah, he's a fucking edgelord, but it's like, dude, I get to play a dude with just two big ass shotguns. I liked playing Reaper. Okay. I was not particularly good at Tracer, but I loved playing Moira. That was another character I absolutely adored playing. Like, really being able to do offense and defense. Some of my favorite shit in Overwatch is, like, the meme modes. Where there's, like everyone is, like double health. You, like, have basically no cooldowns with your abilities. It's so fun to do that as Moira, because you're just throwing, like, damage ball, heal ball, and just, like, fucking shit up. It's amazing. What killed Overwatch for me was not roll queue, because I stopped playing before roll queue happened. And from what I understand, I kind of got out at a good time. It's the fact that there's no single player content. You have to be, I mean, technically, because you don't have to be playing with people, you just join a match and quick play and shit. And like, there's arcade stuff. Like, I know, I get it. You have to be online to be playing. There is no offline single player. There's not a story mode. There's not you can join a match with bots, or like you can just like do a match. It's like, all right, these are the characters I struggle against. So like, let me make a team of them, and you know, this is kind of how I want their AI to be. So like, I can get some practice in or something. There's nothing like that. I know there is a training mode. Maybe that's something that was there and I just didn't know about, but again, it's not offline. And once I moved out of law school, like once I graduated and I came back here, internet's dog shit. So this game that I put so much time in and it's so much fun with, it was just like literally unplayable. It does not detract from all my good memories with it or a lot of my frustration. And seeing like some of the changes they made to it, like I said, I think I got out at the right time. So my personal experience isn't marred by shit like roll queue. But it's sad the way I had to stop playing. Like, cause I look at Smash Ultimate, like I haven't touched Smash Ultimate in quite a while. But I know it's like I could just pick it up and have fun with it because there's shit I can do without connecting online. And I don't know, I had a bit of a rant there, but I loved it. I really sincerely did. Now we get into the top 10. At number 10, it's another Trails game. It's not Cold Steel 2. It's Cold Steel 4. I'm not as big on Cold Steel 4 as other people are. And I mean, I've got a long... How long is my Cold Steel 4 video? It's probably like an hour and 10, 15 minutes, somewhere around there. Short version, it's a Trails game, so I think the combat is very fun. It's easy, but it's very fun. The first third of the story, like everything before you get Reen back, is phenomenal. The next 2/3, I think, are kind of hit and miss. There's parts that I really like. There's parts that I don't like. The Salt Pail dungeons are also, like, I'm very mixed on them. Because getting to play as a lot of these characters, some for the first time, some is just like, welcome back Estelle and like the SSS, is really hype and really exciting. But the Salt Pails are pretty boring as dungeons. They're very cut and paste. It's kind of like the shit at the end of Curl 1 that I really didn't care for. And the final fight against Ishmelga, the way it's framed in story is like, okay, this is its final form. This is it. It's going all the way, but now we can kill it. It makes it feel like this is going to be like this crazy badass final boss, and it is a joke. And if it was written as a, we can now kick its ass, I'd like it more. But alas, like the easiness of the boss makes it, the whole moment, kind of a little lackluster. And there's other moments that I don't super care for. Like, I think the idea of the curse is really cool, but some of the ways it's implemented, I'm not as crazy about. I really don't like the way they handled Lecter's character. I really don't like the way they handled Claire's character. I have my problems with it. But alas, I still really love it. I love it a lot. There's a reason it's this high on the list. I don't think I have much else to say about Cold Steel 4. So we'll go on to number 9, which is Cold Steel 2. No, it's actually not. It's A Hat in Time. I fucking love A Hat in Time. I was reminiscing about it the other day where I was at law school and I was playing A Hat in Time. And there was this thing I did. I don't remember how we did it, because I don't think I've ever done it again, because it was kind of shitty. Where it was like a screen sharing, or like a streaming thing. And it wasn't like a public thing. It was like, I was doing it for my friend. So Wyatt and the people he was with were watching me play A Hat in Time. And I could hear them through my PS4, but they couldn't hear me. And what I specifically remember is there's this one thing that Hat Kid does, or it's like this like push-up thing that she can do. So as they were talking, I was just doing that in response to what they were saying, and there was a point where they realized I was doing it in response to what they were saying, and it was just really fun and really goofy. It's a game that has a lot of charm. It's a game that was really fun. It's a game that I made sure to 100%, like I platinum that game, which is not something I do a whole lot. Mostly because even with games that I fucking love, it's like, okay, I'm probably not going to do this unless I do a new game plus and like an 80-hour RPG. I'm probably not going to do that. Pin in one of these games, because one of them I did. we'll get to that in a second. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, it's a lot of inane bullshit that I really don't want to do, or it's like I don't want to play through the whole game again. But this game was so fucking fun, I just couldn't put it down. It's like I want to do even some of like the inane bullshit. Where I think one of them was like get through Deadbird Studios without getting caught, and I had a lot of trouble with that one, but I did it. I made sure to do it. I haven't played the DLC because it didn't come out for PS4 for like a long while, and by the time it did, I kind of lost interest in playing it. I'm considering doing it. There's a part of me that's just kind of considering maybe at some point I'll just buy it for the Switch and kind of have an excuse to play through the whole game again because I really, really loved it. And then I can do the DLC. Like, I might do that. I might really do that. But game is absolutely loved it. Number eight. Number eight is 13 Sentinels. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Is Aegis or Aegis? I think it's Aegis. In Xenoblade, it's Aegis. In Persona, it's Aegis. I'm gonna go with Aegis. I love 13 Sentinels. I think I didn't talk about it a whole lot when I did my Unicorn Overlord video, but I did mention it as like this is the other Vanillaware game that I have played. It is the best way I can describe 13 Sentinels, that it is science fiction the game. Whatever sci-fi tropes or like stories you love, it's probably in here somewhere. Time travel, aliens, Terminator, War of the Worlds. I'm pretty sure clones were in there somewhere. Just all kinds of bullshit. Oh, mechs. Definitely mechs. All kinds of bullshit. All kinds of tropes. And I mean it in the best possible way. It is so, for me, it was just so consistently fun seeing all these different like sci-fi storytelling elements, or like sci-fi stories just coming together in a way that genuinely worked, and seeing where the story was going. I am generally not someone that likes non-linear storytelling, me personally, and it's something that does affect me when playing like a Dark Souls game or Bloodborne, where if you're gonna tell me a story, I would rather you just tell me the story, and I don't want to have to go looking for the story. I can go looking for the themes in your story if your story is interesting enough for me to want to look at it. And if your story is interesting enough, I will want to engage on it on a deeper level. But I don't want to have to go engaging that deep to get the story in the first place. That's just me. And I'm not usually crazy about nonlinear storytelling, but here I didn't fucking care because I was having so much fun with it. Also, fuck, what's the song called? I think it's called like Seaside Vacation. It's really catchy. It plays during one of the fights because, like, well, it's predominantly a visual novel. It's also an RTS game with mechs, and it's pretty dang fun. I won't lie. I don't think I quite loved the combat element of the game, but I had a pretty good time with it. Like, I loved the story far, far more. Would highly, highly recommend reading it slash playing it. Okay. Number 7. Also one of my beloveds. I fucking love Cold Steel 2. I know I talked about it when I did my Cold Steel 2 videos. Like, I have a crush on this game. Like, I'm just so giddy when I talk about it. It has its problems. It really does. There is some dumb shit in Cold Steel 2. Just some of the writing decisions and the, like, it's kind of like what I was saying with Cold Steel 4. How when you're fighting Ishmelga, it's framed as it's the final battle. It's the epic battle. This is it at like its strongest, and it's gonna be a tough fight, but we can go. And then you just absolutely kick the shit out of it. Like, the way the information is presented bothers me. Is the whole thing. And Cold Steel 2. So like, yeah, we're a neutral faction. We're a neutral party. No, you're not. There is nothing neutral about you. You're an independent faction. Because you are not with the resistance. You are, or fuck, what were the two parties? Because it was the Noble Alliance and the Imperials, I think, because it was whatever the fuck Osborne's thing was, because they weren't calling themselves the Iron Bloods. But it's like, yeah, that's the Noble Alliance and like the Imperials. You're with the Imperials because you're fighting the nobles. You are like not a neutral party because you have said these guys are the enemies, but you are independent. There's a difference there, and I feel like it's a pretty notable distinction that you just keep ignoring, and it bugs me. It really sincerely does. There's Reen's relationship with Crow, and I feel like the way it's written, it's supposed to be like this big tragedy, and it's just gut wrenching that one of his friends, almost maybe even like his best friend, is betraying him, that the friendship meant nothing. I'm just kind of sitting here going, I played Cold Steel 1, and no offense, I wasn't particularly invested in Crow. Like, I didn't hate him by any means. Like, by the end, like, all the sea shit I thought was really cool. But just, like, his relationship with Reen, like, yeah, like, the 50 Mira scene is pretty fun, but I mean, other than that, I didn't feel like they were especially close. Like, I don't know, he seemed like he was having a thing with Elisa, or with, like, Elliot seemed like that was his boy. That I would kind of buy if there was like this big traitor. Yeah. If he was super torn up about like one of them or something, I could totally buy it. It's not that I don't see it with Crow, but I don't see it to the extent the game wants me to see it. And they're the kind of things that take me out of the experience. However, fuck, I loved playing it. It was so fun. All the fucking like overdrive mechanic is so stupid. I loved it. There's a Laura button, and the Laura button is insane. Chrono bursting is dumb. It's just fun. And I loved the end game so much. Like, oh hi Chuck, you're in the video. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? No. Oh, I'm gonna need you to get off the notes, bud. You good? Oh. Sorry, I don't remember what I was saying. Cold Steel 2. Cold Steel 2 has its problems. I will not deny its problems. But I can kind of ignore them. I can gloss over them because I had so much dang fun with it. I said I didn't care for Reen much in Cold Steel 1. That changed here. I got to like him quite a bit. If there is one trope that I fucking love, it is getting your squad back together. And that is like the entire first third of Cold Steel 2. And I think it's really fun. I think it's really neat. I think a lot of the character arcs work really well, or at least very interesting, with, again, some exceptions. I fucking love it. Number 5, Skullgirls. Or excuse me. Number 6, Skullgirls. It is not in the top 5, and I don't know, maybe that's a Freudian slip where I'm like, it really should be, because I played, what year was it? I think it was 2021 or 22. I think it was 2021, like part of 2022. I played so much Skullgirls. The game is so fucking fun. This was the game that was getting me into fighting games, and it is for one character in particular. Shout out to Peacock. I wanted to play Skullgirls for Peacock because, like, you mean to tell me there is just a dead ass cartoon character that is a fighting game character who will, like, pull off one of her eyes and use it as a hole to teleport in, who out of nowhere will just pull out a cannon and yell, yo ho ho, while shooting people with it. I need this. I need to play as this character. I need to play this game. And as I played more, I was like, okay, I really like Peacock, but I don't know, I think playing Umbrella is really fucking fun. So I became an Umbrella main when I was playing. I love the art of the game. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love the music. I think the music is really, really good. I think mechanically it's super fun. it really got me on a fighting game kick. Excuse me. And then there was a point where I just stopped, and it was like, okay, like I've got a lot of other stuff, I've got a lot of other projects. I'm gonna put this on the back burner for a bit, and I just kind of didn't pick it back up. And that honestly breaks my heart because of just how much fun I had playing with it. But shout out to Skullgirls, man. I fucking love it. I don't love it enough to quite put it in my top 5. But it is number 6. Number 5 is Tales of Berseria. I love Berseria. I'm not as crazy about the gameplay. Be lying if I said I did. I prefer a TP system like in Symphonia or in Vespi. It's the Souls system, and not like it's a Souls game, but it's basically a stamina meter, and they're like, oh, you need like souls or whatever the fuck. I said earlier, I don't care for stamina meters and stamina systems. Me personally, I don't find that particularly fun. So why is it so high, even with that? Because I fucking loved the story, and I love and adore the cast. I don't know if I can say they're my favorite Tales cast because of just how much I love Tales of Symphonia, especially after replaying it. It holds up phenomenally. But I love these 6. I really sincerely do. There is a cosmetic item in the game that is just a 10-gallon hat, and I think it is deadass the first cosmetic you get in the game. And while we were playing the story, I made it a point. I was like, okay, this is the signature thing in our group. Everyone, with the exception of Magilou, because she already has this very fantastic hat, and we are Magilou's menagerie. She needs to have the best hat. Everyone else is wearing that 10-gallon hat. For a good chunk of the game, Eleanor did not get the hat. I was like, I don't know, you're not really part of the team. Like, you're in the party, but you're not part of the team, you know? So instead, I just like gave her a halo so she could have something on her head. And I don't remember what the event was, or like what the story beat was, but there was a point in the game like, okay, you're part of the team now. Like, no bullshit. You're one of us. She earned her 10 gallon. Like, I know how stupid that sounds, but deadass, it felt so satisfying and so rewarding to be able to give her her hat. Like, welcome to the team. No bullshit. I remember going back to Velvet's Village, but easily being one of my favorite parts of the story. The final boss, dude, I remember having to like do some stupid bullshit to be able to beat the final boss, and it was kind of amazing. Like, it was down to just Velvet, and essentially, like, I don't even remember how it was working, but I was just kind of spamming her special, or like the Therian Claw move. Because I think what was happening is, like, every time I would use it, I would get a little bit of health back. And as soon as it would be done, my health would, like, go back to 1. I don't remember exactly how the interaction worked. But for some reason, I was able to keep spamming it. And I was able to do it to kill the final boss. And given, like, one of the big themes of Berseria, like, of course, one of the biggest is, like, you know, like, why do birds fly? And it's, you know, about free will versus, like, determinism and shit like that. One of the big themes of Berseria is just being an angry menace to society, because that's kind of what Velvet is. And so it's like, yeah, how did she beat the final boss? By just pure, unadulterated, adrenaline-fueled rage. It's kind of amazing and really on point. Love that fucking game. Number 4... it's Cold Steel 3. I get to take that pen out. I did Platinum Cold Steel 3. What I specifically did was I played the game, it did basically everything, and I was like, okay, how quick, like, if I skipped all the cutscenes, so, like, I did a New Game Plus, so you keep all my level and all my bullshit. If I skipped all the cutscenes, how quickly could I get through the game to find those missing treasure chests and, like, scan those missing enemies? I'm gonna try. I actually had to do it a couple times because I think there was this one specific fight with Aurelia where like a mission in the school where I didn't scan her at the right time or some shit, and it was really annoying, but I did it because I wanted to platinum Cold Steel 3 because I fucking loved it. I remember when it was time to play it. Because like I said earlier, I started with Cold Steel 1, and then after Cold Steel 2, I played the other games. So that was the Sky Trilogy, the Crossbell Duology. Getting back to Cold Steel 3 and finally continuing the Erebonia story after 5 other games, which I love, by the way. I've got my problems with Zero and Azure, but I still like them. But I was so excited to get back to Erebonia. And I took a week off from work, partially because I needed a vacation. I was mentally, emotionally not doing well. And I was like, okay. Also, it was for my birthday. Like, I'm just, like, if I need to take some time off, let me do it around my birthday. I think that'd be really nice. So for that week, I didn't finish it. I think how far did I get? I don't remember. I don't know if I just like got to the Arian Road Stall Ritter fight. I might have gotten to the dragon. I don't remember. But I remember I played so much of that fucking game and it was amazing. And Clay baked me this like giant cookies and cream Oreo brownie thing that I think I gained like 30 pounds. I was like, that shit probably gave me some kind of disease. But it was good. And like, again, with like my mental and emotional state at the time, I needed that shit. And being able to just take a week off, not worry about work, eat this delicious ass dessert, and finally play Cold Steel 3 was this wonderful experience. And I think the totality of that experience is part of why I love the game so much. Part of it is also I love the way Reen is written in Cold Steel 3. I think it's my favorite version of Reen throughout the series. I love New Class 7. I love some of the new like gameplay shit they added, like subcourts. It gets dumber in Cold Steel 4, where everyone can share the same subcourts. But like there's things in Cold Steel 3 that got buffed in 4. There's a lot that got nerfed because Cold Steel 3 is dumb. Like Muse with the Ocean Bell. And was it like the Water Bell and the Ocean Bell? I think it's something like that, but you can bell stack and she is just an arts machine gun, and it is incredible. It's like, hey, is this enemy not immune to water? They're weak to water. Because here's the thing, even if they're resistant to water, I'm going to be hitting them with water so much, they're basically going to be neutral to it, or they're basically going to be weak to it. If they're neutral to it, I'm going to be hitting with them so much, they're basically weak to it. And if they're weak to it, they're just fucked. It was amazing. I also really liked the story. It has one of my favorite boss fights in the series with Arian Road and the Stall Ritter while Aurelia is a party member. It's so good. So much so that I had to fucking platinum it. It is still my second favorite game in the Trail series. I love it. There's a part of me that's a little upset that Cold Steel 3 was not number 3. But it still kind of works out because number 3 is Danganronpa 3. Danganronpa V3. I fucking love this game. I am a big Danganronpa fan. And when 3 was announced, I was hyped. Like, deadass, I bought a PS4 for Danganronpa 3. That's how excited I was. And I was, like, in the pre-release shit, I was super into it. Like, all right, I want to know what the characters are. I want to know what all their talents are. Like, give me as much information as possible. Then the game came out in Japan, like, and it was, like, it's going to be a while before we get it. As soon as it came out in Japan, I looked at nothing. I went dead silent. I was like, I want to know everything about the game until it comes out because I don't want to know shit about the spoilers. And when it came out, like, when I got my hands on it, I, like, did not go to class for a week. Like, I had specifically planned my absences ahead of time. It's like, all right, you get, like, this many absences before you, like, automatically fail a class or whatever. Like, okay, I need to make sure that I don't fuck with this. Because So I was like, I'm not gonna go to class for this. I know I'm not gonna go to class. Like the night it came out, I downloaded it. I was playing Munchkin with my friends because we had like our weekly Munchkin night. And I was like, I just want to play Danganronpa. I just want to play Danganronpa. And we get to that point at the end of the game where like everyone is level 9, or almost everyone is level 9. So it's just about who can who can fight a monster when everyone else is just out of mutually assured destruction. And almost immediately I pull Divine Intervention as a cleric. And I have so many Divine Intervention wins, it's fucking hilarious. And it was almost exactly like right when the game finished downloading, Divine Intervention, I win. I could play Danganronpa. So that was at probably like, I think it was at 10, I think. It was at like 10 o'clock at night. I played it until 6 in the morning. It was like, all right, I'm just gonna go. And I did like all the prologue shit and the first chapter. The first chapter is so fucking good. And the ending, and it's my favorite execution in the entire series. I love it. So chapter 1 is phenomenal. Chapter 2 is not as good, but it's still good. Chapter 3 I didn't get nearly as into, but it was fine. Chapter 4 I liked quite a bit. Chapter 5 was fucking incredible. Chapter 6, I think the reason that I love V3 as much as I do is because it started amazing, and for me, it ended amazing. And I know that's controversial. I know, and again, like, I still like what happened in the middle. I know there's people that don't like the ending. I know there are people who hate it. They don't like the way it, interacts with the rest of the series. I love it. What I love about the fucking ending to this game, it's one scene in particular. There is a scene where it shows a flashback to an earlier scene in the prologue where the characters are all in the gym and like meeting each other for the first time. And it's like, oh yeah, and it's like you can tell with like the coloring and how it's framed that this is a flashback, and that scene never fucking happened. It is showing you a flashback. It like the way it feels is that it's like, okay, we're giving the player a lot of information, a lot of absolutely crazy fourth wall breaking meta fucking bullshit. And then we're going to show them a scene. And because it was so long ago, they're probably not going to remember all the details. So they're probably gonna be like, oh shit, how did I miss that? How did I forget that? And I'm watching it going, this never happened. And I know it never happened because I remember, because I know I would have remembered shit like this. You're fucking with me. And the whole theme of the game is lying and deceit and fucking with you. The game literally tells you the big twist right at the very start of the game. Like the second you boot it up, you have found out the twist. It's insane. Like, even the title is a fucking spoiler. And it seems so innocuous. And even then, I was like, this is kind of weird, but okay. Oh, this makes sense. What the fuck? I love it. I adore it. I understand people's issues with the game. I understand people's issues with the ending. To me, it's what makes it. Let's go to number 2. I don't think I have much else to say. It's got a double chef's kiss. Double. I fucking love it. Number 2. This one's kind of cheating, but it's Kingdom Hearts. It's Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5, because I played that shit on PS4, and look, the collection makes it all technically one game, so here we go, it's number 2. I love Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is one of my favorite games of all time. It is one of, I would say it's one of the most like important games to me. It's like one of my most treasured games. It is like I have a friend named Ryan. He's basically my brother. I've known him since I was like 6. He is the one that introduced me to Kingdom Hearts. So for me, it's got that connection. Where, and it's not just like it was something he told me about. It was like he was visiting me for like a week once because we lived kind of far away. So when we would hang out, it would be like, all right, it's over the summer, it's over a break, we're gonna hang out for a while. And he had the guidebook, and as someone who loves Disney and like anime and shit, he's like, all right, this is something you're really gonna like. I was like, this is so cool, and I got super into it. And unfortunately, like he didn't bring it with him, or like he forgot his PlayStation, like his cords or like some shit, so we weren't able to play it. But I got super into it. And then a few months later for Christmas, I got a PS2 and I got Kingdom Hearts. Also, Jack and Daxter and Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Great games. But I got Kingdom Hearts. Didn't get the memory card till Easter. But I played the first like 12 hours of that game, like from Dive to the Heart to the Cave of Wonders. I played that shit so many times. I love it. When I finally made it past Jafar, because I had a fucking memory card, I was so happy. It's like I could play the rest of the game now. It's got that Disney magic and that Disney charm. And there's elements of other Kingdom Hearts games that do that too. But I don't think there's another game in the series that does it quite like one. If I know it's coming to Steam soon. Streaming isn't something I'm like super interested in, but kinda. The first game I stream would probably be Kingdom Hearts. Also because I kind of want to replay it again because it's been a little bit. That just sounds so nice. That sounds exciting to me. Like being able to play Kingdom Hearts again and sharing it with people, like my experience, whatever that unique experience of Kingdom Hearts is. Genuinely one of my favorite games. Also, comes paired with Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2, to me, is not quite as important as Kingdom Hearts 1. It doesn't have that immediate connection to one of my best friends. It doesn't have that, I didn't have a memory card, so I've played this game a gajillion times. It doesn't quite have the Disney magic. What it does have is it's fucking fun. It's fucking sleek. Obviously I've played Kingdom Hearts 1 more in totality, but in terms of full playthroughs of each game, they're probably pretty even, and if not, I've maybe played Kingdom Hearts 2 more because it's just more fun to play. I love the data fights. I love the fight with Terra. I love the fight with Sephiroth, all the optional bullshit. I love all the stupid abilities. Like, I love quick running. I think quick running is so fun. Kingdom Hearts gets a lot of flack for its story, and I will be the first to say I don't think it's undeserved. I have a lot of problems with Kingdom Hearts story. There's still some of those problems with 2. Like, what the fuck? Roxas makes no sense to me, I'm gonna be honest. Yes, Sora would have a nobody because he turned to a Heartless. Yes, Sora's heart was so strong, his nobody would, like, have a face and shit. Totally buy that. Ven's heart was in Sora at the time, so Sora's nobody looks like Ven. I don't really buy that, because Ven's heart being there has nothing to do with it. Unless you say that Roxas is Ven's nobody, but he's explicitly Sora's, so no. Because the nobody isn't the heart, the nobody is the body. So, why isn't it just Sora's body? Also, in Kingdom Hearts 1, after hugging Kairi, Sora gets his body back because the implication is that him as a heartless, like that is the body without the heart, hence heartless. And then, when Kyrie hugs him, he's able to get his heart back and his emotions and his feelings, so his body is back. And if Roxas is the nobody and the nobody is... You see where I'm going? This shit doesn't make any fucking sense. However, I still really like the plot of Kingdom Hearts 2. I still like all, the bullshit. It was fun then. Really didn't like it in Dream Drop. Really didn't like it in 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not on this list. I thought about it. But alas, I played the data fights on the PS5. So, the part of the game that I'm like, this was amazing, wasn't on the PS4 now, was it? But I love Kingdom Hearts 1. I love Kingdom Hearts 2. And if I can technically put them in the same slot, I'm gonna do it. And somehow that's only number 2. Because number 1's Persona 5 / Persona 5 Royal. That is in my holy trinity of games. And I know that's something I had to have said multiple times on the channel. In the old room, you could definitely see, I had multiple Persona 5 posters. I had, 2 or 3. In the current room, which I'm not in right now because people are asleep upstairs, and if I'm down here, I don't have to wake them up. The Persona 5 posters are still up there. They're still viewable, depending on the angle where I record. To me, Persona 5 is the platonic ideal of a video game. It is everything that I want in a game. I want a game to have I want it to have solid art direction. It's not something that looks generic, something that looks really unique to the game, something that's very stylized, I think is really cool. It does that. I want it to have a great soundtrack. It does that. I want it to have an engaging story. I really like the story, and I want to care about the main cast, and I really do care about the main cast. I want it to be fun as fuck. Excuse me. This game is fun as fuck. Combat is very fun. Okay, I think, to me, what makes combat fun is how flashy it is. And yeah, it's pretty colors, like a fucking monkey banging symbols together. But it does help, because turn-based combat, at its worst, is very slow and very monotonous. When you speed the process up and add a lot of flash, it makes the monotony a lot more fun. And I say this as someone who loves turn-based combat. I prefer turn-based combat because I love the strategy of it. But strategy can be slow, and strategy, especially when fighting mobs that you fought the same thing 10 times, can be really monotonous. I played Xenosaga. Xenosaga 1 in particular is an infuriatingly slow game. It's fun. I genuinely like the way combat works, but it's very slow. And there are definitely points where I was like, I wish I could just skip some of these animations, and I don't know if there was a way I could just make this faster. This really makes me miss Persona and how quick it is, how snappy it is. And even when a lot of this familiar shit happens, it's engaging to look at. It's fun. It rewards me for making good decisions, for getting I can get an extra turn. I can give that turn to someone else who can really maximize it, either by hitting another weakness or doing a buff that's really needed. I like that. I like all the different wrinkles in combat. Royal made me cry. And it was from shit that was in the first game. It was Futaba's arc, which didn't make me cry the first time. I just thought it was really good. The second time, I think just really knowing the full context of everything, I was yeah, that got me. I love the palaces. I love the dungeon design in this game. What I find genuinely so interesting about Persona 5 is there's 2 endings. There's the base ending to the original game, and then Royal added extra content. Royal's ending is very different because of that extra semester, like that extra arc. And I don't know which ending I like more. When I finished the game, I was like, I like this extra shit. But where's my road trip with the homies? Like, that's such a fun ending. I love it. I just love just how chill it is. It's like, these are my friends. These are my guys. These are my girls. This is my squad. We're going to have a good time. We're going to go on a road trip, and no one's going to stop us. It's this very... What's the word I want? I don't know. I had it, and then I lost it. So, whatever. But I think it's dope as fuck. Then you get Royal's ending, which is not the fun road trip. It is not a, hey man, we know that you're kind of going through some shit and like, you know, we're going to be there with you and we're going to go all the way and whatever happens, come what may, we're going to have a good time. It's all of your friends saying, we love you. We wish you all the best. We'll see you when we can. You can reach out to us anytime. But we can't go with you because we got our own shit to deal with. Like, I'm going to college. I'm going back to the track team. I'm trying to, you know, like, do some work in, like, the modeling agency, et cetera, et cetera. It's Persona 5, like, the way it feels like the ending of Persona 5 is, I don't know, like, you finished your freshman year of high school. You're like, cool. I can just go have a carefree, not giving a fuck, fun summer vacation. And Royal is like finishing your senior year of high school, or like finishing, like graduating from college or law school or something. And like, okay, I'm an adult now. I've got shit I need to do. I need to get my life together. I care about my friends. I want them to know that, like, if they need me, they can reach out to me. Would love to hang out with you. But I am growing up, and I've got shit to do. I think that's a really strong ending. And given what happens in the last semester, it makes a lot of sense that the ending of Royal is specifically, we are moving forward in our lives. And I think it's amazing. So, it's my favorite game on the PS4. It is one of my 3 favorite games of all time. Spoiler alert, when I do this for the Switch, whatever that is, maybe tomorrow, which technically today, because this has been an hour and 18 minutes. I figured it would be something like that. One of the other 2 games is gonna be on there. Like I said, if you follow my channel, you probably know what it is. I won't say it just in case. Just save the surprise for it, but you probably know. But anyways, it's after midnight, so it's now Tuesday. Like, I don't work tomorrow, so I can stay up this late. I don't know when I'm gonna upload this, because like I said, I need to do the timestamps, but whenever you watch it, have a day, afternoon, evening, night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your month. Read 13 Sentinels. Play Child of Light. I'll see you when I see you. Take care.